Greeting from Tromaville, and I'm here with Tromenda. Tell us, what are we fascinated with?
The Horror Squad podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Horror Squad podcast. This is episode number 372, where tonight we will be talking about 2025's The Monkey, directed, of course, by Osgood Perkins. I am here, of course, with Steve and Todd. Todd feeling a little sickly tonight, so, forgive his voice. He might sound a little sickly. He tried to show me up because a couple weeks ago I was sick and I didn't show up, and here he is showing
Think
up.
I got the black lung, Pop.
But, gentlemen, how was your week? Anything good? Anything interesting happen?
Hold on, the nurse just came in. I'm actually in the hospital, but
Oh,
my
no.
dedication to the show is just miles above Joe.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'll be right there. I'll be right there.
Time for your sponge bath, honey.
Ooh, again? Third time today. I just dealing with a little flu or COVID. I don't know, man. It's like every symptom is the same as every other fucking sickness you can get, so just dealing with it, but nothing much. What about you, Steve? Joe?
On my end, I've been working on the trailer. It will be out very soon. Like from the day that this episode releases, it will be like a day or two at the most. So
I'm gonna
you
speak
guys
for
will
the
be able
people
to
here,
see it.
Steve.
Mhm.
We've heard this.
I know.
Is it coming out?
It's coming out. It's just like I have a lot going on in my
Is
life.
the trailer in the room with us right now?
Yeah, a lot of stuff that I don't talk about on the pod or anything going on in the background. But yeah, I dedicated 2 days this week to finish it, and it'll be out. And hope people, like it and don't expect too much out of it. Other than that, yeah, just a lot of stuff, I don't really want to get into going on. And it's been a rough week, but hopefully by next week it'll be better.
I'll tickle your butt for you. Speaking of movies, I hope everything's all right, Steve, by the way. Speaking of movies, though, we're filming this weekend for special
Nice.
delivery, so that's gonna be fun. We just don't know exactly what yet because, schedules juggle and depending on who can make it, depends on what scenes we're gonna film. So that's gonna be a fucking blast because last time it was amazing. So put some stills online after we do that, of course, and edit some scenes together and just keep it rolling.
All right, cool. What did I do this week? Anything interesting? No. Played some VR without you guys. But you guys you had movie club, didn't you, Steve?
Yeah. I'll talk
Okay.
about the movie on What Watch, but we had a movie club. We had a really good showing. People, they're in it for the horny horror apparently because we watched Killer Rack, and yeah, we had a good crowd and we had so much fun, man. Like actually, hopefully he's okay with me saying this, but one of the guys that was there, a Zomboy, he showed me one of the coolest collectibles I think I've ever seen.
Wow.
He has Bruce Campbell's Blockbuster card, and it's signed by Bruce Campbell. So
Wow.
he met him like a long time ago, and he just he talked about like working at Blockbuster and everything. And he's like, "Hey, I got something for you." He pulled out the Blockbuster card out of his wallet,
That's hilarious.
signed it, and gave it to him. And he has it in this like super
That's amazing.
protected case and everything. I was like just blown away. It was such a fucking cool thing, and people were showing different things in their rooms and stuff because a lot of them were like new to movie club. So yeah, it was really cool. Like we have such a great Discord, so many awesome people, and they all have like amazing things to show off and great horror ideas and we laughed so much at this movie. You'll hear about it when I talk about it while I watch, but it was a wild fucking movie. So
Nice.
yeah, it's a good time. People need to join that thing and
Yeah.
fun
Continue
with
to
us.
grow it. Continue to grow it. Movie club every single month. Join Steve. Todd and I, maybe we'll show up one of these days. We'll see, but join Steve at least every single month over Movie Club. How do you join Movie Club? You got to join the Discord, ladies and gentlemen. We say it every week. So join the Discord and you can join Steve's Movie Club the last, usually Friday of every month. Subject.
Although I will say that next month it's going to be the first Friday of April because I'm on vacation the last Friday of the month. So
Excellent.
Yep.
All right. Thank you. One last thing I want to touch on, obviously no horror news this week, but the Oscars literally just happened this past weekend. And unfortunately, horror once again is snubbed. But at least we got one Oscar win. The Substance did win for best makeup. So, practical effects and that were amazing. So well deserved there. The big shocker of the night obviously was Demi Moore did not win for best actress. Unfortunately, that went to Mikey Madison for Nora, who does have some hard ties though. She did play, of course, Ghostface, the Ghostface killer in Scream 5. So there are some hard ties there. So congratulations to Mikey Madison. Nosferatu shut out in the three categories it was nominated for. Alien Romulus, I don't think, no surprise there, did not win either for best visual effects. But at least one win for the horror guys. And then, sadly, an omission that became a big thing in the horror news and the horror community is that Tony Todd was unfortunately snubbed in the in memoriam portion at the Oscars, which I think is really shocking. Also, Olivia Hussey was also not on there as well, Black Friday frame. So, the one that really shocked me was Tony Todd. No love for Tony Todd, unfortunately, in the in memoriam. I understand though, I understand somewhat, sure, a lot of people die throughout the year, and you have to pick and choose, but he was an icon, and to omit him, I think, was definitely a glaring miss on the Oscars. So, yeah, but us as horror fans, we gotta keep, his name alive, and he's gonna be one last film, right? Final Destination Bloodlines this year will be his final role, so can't wait to see it. And we love you, Tony, and we as horror fans love you. So, even though you may have been omitted at the Oscars, you'll live in our horror hearts forever. All
Yeah,
right.
super
Yeah.
weird, but also weirder. Is Steve a penis on his shirt?
Oh, it does. What has he got?
No,
An evil dead.
that's not what it looks like at all. Look
That
at just
looks
the
like
top of it.
a-
It looks like a wiener.
It
That
does
is-
actually, yeah.
That looks like a horror block
Let me get a shot
exclusive
of this.
shirt
Hold
right
on.
there.
Is it a horror block exclusive?
Yeah, I think so.
I think
Very
it
good.
was, yeah.
Yeah. It says
Oh,
I Heart
what's
Evil,
that?
and it's
Love it.
yeah, it's
Nice. Any other updates? I don't think so. Chugging along. It's just a bunch of Halloween weekend event in Salem. I think we are pretty much almost completely locked down for the entire weekend event-wise, so tickets should be going on sale very, very soon. I think the plan is to have them on sale by end of this month. So yeah, and then movie updates. Todd's obviously filming, trailers coming, and I should be filming sometime late next month. Is most likely is the plan. We'll see. Still working out sort of pre-production stuff. I'm still waiting on my mask, which has almost been ordered for 3 months now.
Yeah, what's up with that? What are they saying?
Yeah, well, so right now the company is at Transworld, or they did Transworld this past weekend, which is like a massive haunters convention. So I'm sure they've been super busy with that. So I got to send them an email this week and see where they're at with that. But they told me 3 month timeline on it, so we're heading right into that 3 month timeline. So I should hopefully receive it within the next few weeks. But if it doesn't, that might put a slight delay on my production. So we'll see about that. But yeah, all right, that's it, gentlemen. So now it is time for What Watched. What you been watching this week?
All right, I'll start. So I have been doing, the monthly thing where people on the Discord pick a movie for me to review every month, and then I give them a movie back. So this one was from our friend Calum, and he gave me 1922's Haxan. So it's kind of like presented as like an educational dramatic vignette about witches from the Middle Ages versus like psychology patients in the modern time. Of course, modern time being 113, 103 years ago. And it's basically it's just like these different kind of scenarios that they show where they show the parallel between people being, into witchcraft in, medieval times versus what people are going through in the current time. So this is one that it was going to be on my list anyway because we're doing our pre-1960s, kind of episode at some point this summer. And I was really curious about it because, it's got like some pretty creepy imagery and all that stuff online. And I got to say, it was okay. There was some really interesting techniques that they did, which is mind-boggling for 1922. They're doing like ghosts and they're doing demons and they're showing naked ladies, and it's not something that you would expect for something from the 20s, But yeah, they're doing all that. The movie's in like German or something, so that might have something to do with it, as they're more liberal with things like that. My issue with it though is that there's way too much dialogue, which of course in 1922 means panels of just text. And there's so much of it that I felt like I was almost more reading a book than I was actually watching a movie because I'd say like a good 40% of the movie is just panels and you're reading. And they're like long panels of text too. It's not just a couple words like a lot of the films in the 20s were like. So, although I did enjoy it and I appreciate it because of the techniques that they did and the cool makeup on the demons and stuff, I also have to say it's not something I would watch again because it just like it's slogged through and it's an hour like 40 or 50. So, it's a long time to watch something like this. But you have to respect the past because I'm sure it's inspired people that made horror films later on. I gave it a 3 out of 5. And just as a side note, I gave Calum The Dead from 2010 as kind of the exchange. The Dead is actually something I think Todd had recommended to me. It's kind of a zombie movie in the desert in Africa, and I had really liked it. I gave it 3.5 stars. He is the only person on my letterboxd that did not like it. He thought it was boring. So unfortunately, it wasn't a win on my side, but I appreciate the recommendation for Hexen, Caleb. I'm sorry you didn't like The Dead, but I did give you something else that I'll do later in the year. So hopefully that one is more your speed.
The
So
Dead 2.
yeah, right. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, so Hexen, I watched that over on Tubi.
All right, I'll take it over here. I did a double feature of 1988's Waxwork and 1992's Waxwork 2, Lost in Time. Both these films star John, our favorite Zach Galligan from Gremlins. Have you guys seen these before? No,
Just the first.
just first one.
First.
All right, so Zach plays like this rich boy, and like he's really annoying in this. Like he plays a really cool, like everyday, innocent kind of youth, in Gremlins, but a little spoiled little brat. Like I did not like him in this, which sucks. He's the main character. But him and his crew, they go to like this mysterious house where he's like, "Hey, I have a wax museum. Come back at midnight and hang out." And they're like, "Yeah, that sounds legit. Let's do that." So they all go back over there, and they're like, they have like a little person that's like the doorman, and they have this lurch-looking motherfucker that is like his help. I don't know. So they go into the waxwork, and the stick is, or the shtick is that like they're trying to do some spell or some shit where if you sacrifice a certain amount of people, something happens, right? I don't know. But if you go into the wax exhibit itself, like for example, there's like a Wolfman thing. If you go past the threshold, then you are in the Wolfman exhibit, and the Wolfman's trying to kill you, and so on and so on. So you got, Jack the Ripper, you got Wolfman, and stuff like that. So each little segment is pretty much like it kind of turns into an anthology film at that point because you have each character trying to survive in their own little segment and things, and then you have Zach Galligan and his almost girlfriend going to this dude that knows like the history of the wax museum. He's like, "Oh, that's evil," and stuff like that. We got to fight to defeat him, or like he's gonna rule the world with his wax museum figures and stuff like that. So of course they bring the whole town upon them and they fight, and it gets super fucking stupid. This dude in the wheelchair, he's like, yeah, he's just fucking stupid as hell, dude. He starts mumbling and jumbling and he gets his head ripped off, which is really cool. And then of course you see like a vat of wax and you're like, "Ooh, someone's gonna fall in that." Lo and behold, someone falls in it. It's pretty cool. So that one, it's like it's a stupid fun movie. The effects are really cool, but gosh damn, it needs to get to the point a little bit quicker. So I give that one a 3.5 out of 5. Waxwork 2, however, is a piece of shit, dude. They go through time. Okay, so the subtitle I said is Lost in Time. So they are on trial for murder because 200 people were killed at the wax museum. I don't know where the fuck they got 200 people from, but 200 people killed there. And the town's like, "We don't believe you that the monsters came to life." Of course, no one's gonna believe you. But they're pinning it on these Zach Galligan and his girlfriend. So something happens where I don't even remember, dude. They get some ability to go through time, and now instead of the wax museum features, you're doing time travel like Bill and Ted, and it's just fucking dumb as hell, dude. I thought the first one was goofy. This one just takes the cake, man. Zach Galligan is even more annoying in this. They give him the stupidest fucking looking wig. There's an entire medieval scene set up that's awful. They spoof Frankenstein's monster. They spoof Dawn of the Dead, which was awful. They try to spoof Aliens, which is, oh my God, it's dreadful. But Bruce Campbell does come back, or does come out in a little segment. He plays like the sticky Bruce Campbell, not the heroic one, so you know exactly what kind of character he's playing. But man, Waxwork 2 is fucking garbage. Don't watch that. Watched both of these over on Tubi, and I gave part 2 a 1.5 out of 5.
All right. Thank you, Todd. So my first one tonight then is a 2025 release. This one released in January, right around the same time as actually it was like a couple weeks after Nosferatu, I remember, because I saw the trailer when I went and saw Nosferatu. This is actually a directorial debut, and the movie is called The Damned. You can watch it on VOD now. This one is about, it sort of takes place in like the 1800s at a like a fishing village where this woman, her husband died, who owned this like fishing boat, and she takes it over, and she's kind of running the boat and the men in this fishing village. While they were out fishing, they see that a ship has sank. They go to try to save the men on the ship, and then they realize, these men can't be saved because if we try to save them, they'll probably swamp the boat and kill us all. So they leave them sort of for dead. And from there, it sort of delves into a lot of interesting like sort of like mythology about, or not mythology, but more, I guess I would call it folklore about, dead fishermen and, will they come back to haunt us and stuff like that. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. Yeah, man, this movie is slow. It's very, I would attribute it very to like a very Eggers-esque type movie where it looks beautiful, like fucking looks amazing, in this sort of really desolate winter fishing village, like right, like with amazing mountainous views and stuff like that. So yeah, man, it was, I mean, it's definitely like an atmospheric slow burn, and I will admit, like it definitely takes its time, man. The story is interesting. Like if you're into folk horror, I think there's some cool stuff that you might enjoy here. At times, it reminded me of like a slow burn version of The Fog, of John Carpenter's The Fog, but not as good, not nearly as good. Yeah, man. I mean, I feel like the movie had a lot of potential. It had, a really cool, interesting potential pirate sort of ghost story going for it, but it just never got there. And then the ending just didn't land for me at all. It goes down a route I wasn't expecting with the ending, and I didn't really dig it. So I think overall it's like a solid one-time watch, but it's not something I ever see myself, going back and watching again. I do give it a 3 out of 5 because I think it's a really solid directorial debut, and there's definitely some cool stuff in here. So, if you're into those atmospheric slow burn type horror movies, I would definitely recommend it. But if you're not, skip it.
All right. My final one this week is the one I talked about before. It's the one we watched on our movie club last Friday, and that is 2015's Killer Rack, which we did part of our horny horror themed month. So this is the story of a girl, Betsy or Betty, and she works at a job and she has like kind of a loser boyfriend, and her loser boyfriend's kind of not super interested with her anymore. She's not getting promotions at work. Like she's barely getting noticed because her breasts are not big enough. And all of her coworkers who have bigger breasts are getting all the attention from the boss. So she's feeling some type of way about it. She wants to get ahead at work, and she wants to kind of have more luck with her boyfriend and everything like that. So she goes to this really shady practice that like seems to kill people and have a very low success rate to get a breast augmentation, which the shady doctor does. But little does she know, the doctor is a big Lovecraft fan and creates something that she didn't expect. So when she wakes up, she has big breasts. She starts getting noticed by everyone, but her breasts become alive and start exacting revenge on anyone who dare touch them. And then even more because it just goes on a rampage. So yeah, so that's the type of story this is. It's obviously a super ridiculous movie. I mean, you should know that by when Lloyd Kaufman has a musical number at one point about breasts, and it just gets super crazy. it kind of reminded me a little bit of Rectuma, in the sense that in Rectuma it's the guy's butt that goes on a killing rampage, whereas this one it's her breasts. However, they stay attached to her, but she's sometimes like sleepwalking, so she's asleep, but her breasts are moving, and they're like kind of guiding her to other people. The issues with this one is that for a movie called Killer Rack, there's actually a very surprising, like little amount of boobs, which you think there would be a lot more of. And a lot of the kills are kind of off screen for a long period of time until the end. Then it gets fucking wild. That's where the breasts are exposed. They got little mouths and they just start going on a fucking absolute like killer rampage. And that was fucking awesome. The movie is like okay, it's like pretty standard, low budget, just crazy film. I gave it a 2.5 out of 5. I will say, in a group, this was hilarious. We just had so much fun watching this. I don't know if it translates as well if you're watching it alone, but if you like this type of movie, the Night is Something Strange. You have She Kills, which is a girl's vagina. You have Rectuma, which is a guy's ass. This one is the breast, so you can complete the trilogy, maybe. So that's Killer Act 2015, which I watched, of course, on Tubi.
Someone gets smothered to death by breasts.
No, the breasts are more bitey than smothering.
Oh,
Like they like to take some shit off. Like
okay.
yeah, they're eaters.
I'm
So we
into
had
it.
a teeth situation.
Oh,
Yeah, you're right. The teeth is like kind of the serious version of
Yeah.
this subgenre of killer parts.
haven't seen teeth in a while. Alrighty, my last one is it's not really a horror movie, but I'm gonna talk about it anyway. The Gorge from 2025 over on Apple Plus streaming. Starring Miles Teller and Anya Taylor-Joy and Sigourney Weaver, genre favorite. And yeah, this one I guess is horror adjacent enough to talk about it. It's about a mysterious gorge in an undisclosed location where once a year for an entire year, the East and the Western powers get together and be like, we gotta protect this gorge at all costs, people. Let's put a digital scrambler over the whole thing so satellites can't see it. Google Earth people can't see it. We'll put an American or Western force person and a Eastern force person, Russian in this case, and American in this case, on each side. They're snipers. They're badass. They're not allowed to talk to each other though. No talking, even though they can see each other perfectly, and give them talking abilities like giant fucking whiteboards to talk. What do you think they're gonna do? Of course they're gonna talk to each other. And then yeah, they don't give him any fucking info except like the guy who leaves is like, hey man, like I don't know shit about this place, but in a year you get out of here, just watch out for the fucking Hollow Man. Like, what? What's that? And they're like, oh, that's what we call the creatures, the Hollow Man. You're like, oh, that's fucking scary. And they're like moaning and shit. And there's like mist you can't see in there. The first hour of this movie is a romantic, not comedy, but romantic entanglement, right? They fall in love from afar, and she's Anya Taylor-Joy, who's a babe, dude. How are you not gonna fall in love with her? Miles Teller is watching her with his binoculars that see like fucking the best details, you know what I mean? And she's like, I wish you can come over here. And this motherfucker goes over there, dude. He rigs up a little line. He goes across. He bangs her. Uh-oh, wrong move. He's going back to his side. The whole thing collapses, and now he's stuck in the gorge. She goes in there to retrieve him. And then the next hour is like, what the fuck is this place? And I'm not going to ruin it because there is a twist, even though it's not that special of a twist. But there is one there. The creatures look pretty cool. They are CGI, I think 99% of the time, so that is a bummer. They're hit or miss too, but for when you see them like in action, they're pretty cool. But some of the other ones are a little bit iffy, because of the CGI. It reminds me a lot of a video game, and specifically Silent Hill, because when you go into the gorge area, it's all like mist and smoke and little creatures run around and shit like that. So now we follow them as like, they're in love, obviously. They have to fight monsters and they have to figure out how to get out of this. Plus, the governments are pissed off, dude, that hey, we told you not to talk to each other and you banged each other and you went in the gorge, dude. We got you on camera. And then now they got to figure out how to get out of that. So I think it's a fun movie. It's too long. It's over 2 hours long. It's well acted. I like both these actors, and I think the action was pretty cool. But trim it down a little bit, and of course they're gonna fall in love. So I don't know how you change that, but change it up a bit, and then I don't know, more scary stuff in the gorge. So I give it a 3.5 out of 5.
That's pretty solid score, though. I think I'm gonna check it out. Good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, I like you said, both actors are really great and talented. So yeah. I want it to be The Descent, you know, kind of like when I think of that like plot
Yeah.
line and The Gorge, like I immediately go to The Descent, and I'm like, man, that'd be awesome. Like a movie with Anya Taylor-Joy and like Miles Teller, like Descent wise, make it happen. All right, my last one tonight, 2025 release, a movie called Hard Eyes. This one is about a killer. It's a very basic slasher movie, but it's about a killer who kills couples on Valentine's Day. He sees couples, he picks them out, and he kills. And that's basically the plot. To go a little further into it, basically, we meet this girl who just came out of a relationship. She meets a guy at a coffee shop. She comes to find out that he actually is going to be working with her. They end up going on a date. Well, more of like a work meeting that night to go over their job, but they kind of have a little bit of chemistry. The Hard Eyes killer sees them, thinks they're a couple, goes to try to kill them, and from there, you know, the adventure ensues. Yeah, man, like overall, it's a solid, fun slasher movie, and it has some really cool kills. You know, it's definitely, I would say, geared more towards the female audience in some ways. And it's very plays for laughs, I would say, for the most part. You know, some of the jokes landed for me, others didn't. It's a nice brisk pace, but at the end of the day, like, I mean, and maybe this is my own fault, because I don't know. At the end of the day, like, I'm starting to realize that I'm like starting to lose luster on the slasher genre for me. Like they're just like all in the same, and this one just at the end of the day just was like completely average, you know, like it just like it didn't bring anything new. It felt a lot like Valentine, honestly, like, but I think it was better than Valentine in a lot of ways. But if you're looking for like if you're expecting this to be, I mean, and maybe I seem to be in the minority because a lot of people seem to be loving this one, but it's just for me, like if you're expecting it to be the next best like Valentine's Day like movie that you're gonna put on every Valentine's Day, for me it's not like at all. Like it just is not hitting those beats for me. It reminded me of a very like 90s, early 2000s style horror movie. It had that sort of style going for it. So I think if like you're really into that era of horror, which because Sam loved this one, like and like she is like really into, you know, like the My Bloody Valentine remake and whatnot, and it kind of had that vibe going for it. But so I mean I think it's definitely worth a watch. Like it's a fun time. But yeah, man, at the end of the day, like I found it to be very average and extremely predictable on one of the killers anyway. So, you know, I once again, it's okay. I give it a 3 out of 5. Like it's decent. I just don't see myself watching it again. Like, you know, maybe in 5 or 10 years I'll put it on as another Valentine's watch, but that's about it. So yeah, that's Hard Eyes from this year.
The killer looked cool.
Yeah, I mean the killer design it's cool. Like I wish, man, like you see it in the trailer, like the eyes like light up, you know, and they should have did that more. Like it's only like really one scene, like where they use sort of the eye light up technology thing, and I feel like they should have been lit up like the whole time. So yeah, I mean, yeah, a decent look on them for sure. But yeah, I mean, I personally don't see him being like a fucking icon, you know, or anything like that. But maybe I'll be wrong. We'll see. That's it then for What Watch. So, Todd, it is time now, buddy. Bust out the books. I know you're a little weak today with your sickness. I don't know if you can lift it. It's a little light, though, so you might be all right. So, bust out the books. Let us
Still
know
manageable.
the score for trivia.
All right, still manageable here. Joe in the lead. Oh man, it's funny because I was on Tubi when I was sick, and I found the fucking ultimate. Like I'm like, oh my God, I can't, I want to, I need to win quarter one because let's just say Corey Feldman's coming up to play if I
Oh,
win.
fuck.
Joe in the lead with 11, myself second 10, Steve third 9. Let's go. Who's leading off today?
I'll do it. I'll lead us off
Oh,
today.
ooh.
Let's go. And I'll say right off the bat, Stephen King trivia, baby. Obviously, why not? You know, we got the
Hold
Stephen
on,
King
Steve's
theme
wife in
going
the
on.
room. It's not allowed.
I tried to make it somewhat hard or harder, if I could, because you know,
Harder,
obviously. Ooh, you like it?
Shit.
You like it hard, baby?
Hard
You like
Eyes,
that?
we got
Ooh.
Killer Rack, we got
Ooh.
Harder. Yeah.
Ooh,
Let's do it.
If only it was episode
Steve's got
69
a
again.
fucking dick on his shirt.
Yeah.
It does look like a dick now.
It does. It's like distracting
You
for
can
me.
never wear it again because it's the dick shirt
Yeah.
from now on.
All right, let's start off with
See, we got the
Matt.
crown to it.
It does. It does. We'll put this in the Discord, folks. Don't you worry.
That's why you need to join a Discord. It's things like
yeah.
that.
Oh, I already
Right.
dropped it in there. I said,
Sure you
keep
did.
this from when this episode drops.
All right.
Oh,
Let's start off with match the character to
Ooh.
the Stephen King movie.
love it.
So tonight, our character is David Drayton.
That
Drake?
is the what'd you say?
What'd you say?
David Drake, is that what you said?
David Drayton.
Oh,
Is it
that's
the
not-
Mist?
It is The Mist.
Oh, nice.
You are correct. Thomas Jane's character,
Janey.
of course, in The Mist.
Handsome man, that Thomas Jane.
Indeed.
All right. We're almost to 2,000 questions for my book, people.
Wow.
I need help because I'm running out of steam here, but we'll get there. All right, so I'm doing poorly explained plots. You have to give me the
love
title
it.
of the movie. You gotta get going with this one. Ready? It's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but with more cum shots.
X.
Correct.
Oh, wow. That's good. All right. All of mine this week are guess the movie based off the main character's name.
Hmm.
A little bit like what Joe just did.
Lovely.
Maybe the same ones. Who knows?
Oh no.
First one. John Torrance.
John Torrance.
I mean, it seems so obvious that it would be The Shining, but I feel like
Correct.
yeah. All right.
It
Wow,
is
it was
a-
too
it's
obvious. I
a-
didn't say it.
That's right. It's the TV
Yeah.
version of The Shining.
All
Fuck
right.
that movie. That little twerp, fucking Danny Torrance. I hate him so much. All right.
Back to me.
Yep.
All righty. Guess the movie based off of the IMDb information. This movie was released in the year 2004 with a PG-13 rating, clocking in at a nice brisk 1 hour and 36 minutes. Categorized as psychological thriller, drama, mystery, thriller, and whodunit.
Who did it?
Currently rated at a 6.5 out
Oh.
of 10 over on IMDb with a Metascore of 46 out of 100.
Oof.
Director David Koepp. Writers Stephen King and David Koepp. Starring Timothy Hutton,
Oh,
Charles S. Dutton.
Oh, the Dark
Um,
Half?
yeah.
Incorrect.
No?
Oh,
I thought that too, actually.
isn't Timothy Hutton play that guy?
Yeah, isn't he the main guy in Dark Half?
Thought so.
Yes.
I think he is.
Oh.
Yes,
Right,
but,
well-
but you are incorrect.
I'm going to wait for the rest now.
You said correct, Steve, so that was your guess too.
Who did it? Oh, Timothy Hutton, Charles S. Dutton, Len Cairo, and John Dunhill. I'll throw out another name after I give you the tagline to try to give it a little more here. But the tagline is, the most important part of a story is the ending.
Oh, is it? I was
Ready?
gonna say-
I'm coming in. I'm bringing in a
I'm gonna
sausage
say
sandwich.
Secret Window.
You are correct. It is
Fuck,
Yeah,
Secret
that was my
Window.
guess.
Depp, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Leaving out John Turturro and Johnny
You
Depp.
took my store.
I'm gonna start doing this actually from now on in my guest IMDb. I'm gonna start giving you character names.
I like it.
Because I was
Yeah.
gonna give Ted Miner and Amy Rainey. I don't know if that would help.
Why'd you take my story, man?
Hmm.
All right.
Good movie, I think. Right? I liked it.
It's been a while since I've seen
I've
it.
never seen it. Yeah.
Ooh, might be worth a review.
All right. Let's see. Okay. Poorly explained plot. Girls banging dudes. Dudes banging girls. Dudes banging dudes.
Hmm.
All while singing catchy songs. We got girls banging guys.
Oh, I got it. It's oh my God.
Oh,
Oh, I sensed it.
Yeah, one second. It's
I almost had it.
maybe.
Yeah,
I will.
I,
Reread. Can you say it again, Todd?
Girls. We got girls banging dudes. We got dudes banging girls. We got dudes banging dudes.
Yes.
All while singing
Catchy,
catchy
songs.
songs.
Interesting. So
I
everyone's banging
can't think of the
each
fucking title.
I heard you say it almost.
I
I'm
know.
like, since you fucked me last one, I'm not giving you anything.
other. Wow.
Wow.
I'm just missing the first word.
Yeah, don't say a single thing
Yeah.
because you'll give it away.
Is
Oh,
that
it's
one
on the
with,
tip.
is it that one with Kevin Bacon we watched?
No.
Kevin Bacon. What movie?
There was some movie with Kevin Bacon, like at a summer camp recently, where everyone.
No, you watched that one.
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
There it is.
I couldn't think of
yeah.
Rocky for some fucking reason. I'm like, horror picture show, but what's the first goddamn word?
Love it.
Everybody be banging in that movie.
Everyone's fucking everybody did.
Yeah.
That
All
is
right.
true.
Still character name.
Okay.
Ben Mears.
That would be it.
No, it's not. It's
not it.
Fuck.
So that's why I would have thought.
Salem's Lot.
It is
Salem's
Salem's Lot.
Ah,
Yeah.
nice.
I was blanking
call.
on that one. I'm glad you didn't get that one.
Good call. Question: am I gonna regret not meeting Susan Sarandon? Like, I'm kind of like, man, it's like
Is
Rocky
she,
Horror. I
front
did really like Rocky Horror Picture. No, she's gonna be at Monster Mania next weekend, actually.
I mean, she's a I guess more A-list actress.
I know.
Yeah, but not a horror icon.
Yeah, she's not really
yeah.
horror icon. I mean, I do have a picture with her and I think Steve gave it to me with her and
Yeah, I had two of them.
and what's his face? Yeah,
The other guy.
Yeah.
And his autograph.
Why
on
can't I
it,
think of
so.
his name?
Tim
The guy who
Curry?
plays
Tim
Brad. The guy who
No,
plays
no,
Brad
no.
in Rocky Horror. Like, it's already signed by him.
Well, you
and
should
Susan
that. That'd be
Sarandon's
cool.
in- So I get like her on it. So it's like both of them.
Right.
That might be.
That'd actually be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Make sure you do
I
it.
don't know. The thing is, like, I don't know how she's probably gonna have a big line, and
Probably.
I only have 2 line skips, and I'm using them on Gina Davis and Tobin Bell, so I'd have to
You get
actually
Tobin.
wait for her.
Yeah, you need Tobin for
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
main thing.
Yeah, I need Tobin and Gina for my post because the fly's on there, so
Right.
I might have to skip her. We'll see what her line looks like.
That's
She
right,
might
yeah.
she might have the weakest line out of like
Could be,
all the other
too.
big names there, like, but we'll see. But she also like brings in, I guess, non-horror fans too. So
Because when I met Mia Farrow, I expected the same thing. Like
Yeah.
I like bolted to her line thinking it would be insane, and there was like 6 people in line.
yeah, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But that's there's not people are known. Like, they kind of have a short memory, so
Right. Well, also that movie's pretty old, so like,
Yeah.
it's like if you yeah, so I get it. All right. Anyway, let's get
Yeah.
back to trivia. All right. 3 letterbox reviews. Can you guess the movie? Number 1. Stephen King's cocaine is really showing in this one.
it's gonna be a lot of things.
Yeah. It's about a
All
10-year, 15-year gap right there.
right.
Number 2. A 90s horror gem and top tier Stephen King adaptation. A film that embodies that whimsical spirit of the 80s while celebrating the zany energy of the early 90s. A majestic tale of campy fables and tumultuous teen romance. A film that rides that perfect balance of mean-spirited nature and dramatic theatrics.
I wouldn't mind, but
I don't want to guess it because
Yeah, me too.
And number 3, and if you know the movie well, this is a dead giveaway. Clovis is a great name for a cat.
Clovis. That was my great grandfather's name.
really?
Oh.
Oh, nice.
Uh,
Shout out to Clovis.
yeah.
Just for fun, I'll give
Clovis.
you the tagline for this one. They feast on your fear, and it's dinner time.
Feast on the fear. The cat
Oh.
people.
It's not the cat people, but you're on the right track.
Yeah, Cat's Eye.
It's not
Oh.
Cat's Eye.
Like, well, cats people sounds like it'd be right.
um, I
Um,
was just thinking that didn't he? Isn't that an anthology he did? Cat's Eye?
I don't know. Come to think of it, I don't think that's an anthology. Actually.
I don't know if you guys have seen this one. I mean, it's definitely more, I would say, mid-tier King as far as like, it wasn't like a huge hit or anything like that, but
This one was made in the
definitely-
90s.
It's definitely well known. Yes.
Made in the 90s. It's got his signature kids whimsical shit.
hmm
Hmm. Shoot.
Yeah,
Dumping you on this one, huh?
this is
Yes.
a tough one.
I have no idea.
And they feed on your fears. That was what you're.
They feast on your fears.
They feast.
I'm just gonna throw out Langoliers.
Oh,
It is not
who would've guessed?
Langoliers. I'm having fun tonight. I'll give you one more hint.
Okay.
Director Mick Garris.
Ah, fuck that guy.
So
Dude. Why
there's
you had
so
to,
many of them that are fucking Mick
why you had
Garris.
to pull out Big Mick on me, dude? Fuck, Mick Garris, 90s movie. He makes shit, dude.
He made so many of the fucking
Mick Garris.
Mick Garris.
1992.
92.
I don't know.
Is it The Fly 2?
It is not. All right. You had enough.
All right.
The movie is Sleepwalkers.
Sleepwalk.
Oh, okay.
That's a. Oh, okay, I see. It's
Yeah.
animal.
It's got a cat on the cover.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. You get a mother, son, fucking.
Oh.
This one.
Mm.
Even though they're really not mother and son, like because they're like
Yeah.
alien cat people or whatever. It's a fucking weird one, man. I haven't seen that one in a while. I remember liking it, but
That's
might be one worth revisiting.
All right, my turn.
And I didn't like it because the mother and son were fucking. Okay, just for clarification.
Well, you lit up when you said that part. All right, so let's see here. Poorly described plots. All right. Not just in the bathroom this time. Now you have the whole house.
Saw 2.
Yep.
Because
Yeah,
yeah,
Yep.
Saw too. I was gonna
Yep.
give it to you, but since you
That's a
said
good
two,
one.
You
That's a
get
good
it.
one.
yeah.
it's
Because
good.
the whole house thing is.
Makes sense.
All right, last one. Okay, it's a character name.
Okay.
Billy Halleck.
Billy Halleck.
Sounds very familiar. I think Thinner.
Correct.
Nice. Which is he the main guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Great flick.
Thinner.
I was disappointed when I watched it last time.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I also watched it a lot growing up, so I think I
Yeah.
definitely have the nostalgia glasses on that one. It definitely has like that made-for-TV movie
It definitely,
feel
yeah.
to it. Yeah.
Especially when like the gangster comes in towards the end, starts
yeah,
blowing
yeah.
people away.
That's a little much. And it's the dude who is the voice of the mobster in The Simpsons, so that's always distracting.
He's like getting roadhead and runs that dude over.
yeah.
Jeez, dude.
Yep. All right, I
right.
think that's it. Give us those scores.
All right, Steve and Joe, good night with 3 apiece, myself with 2, which brings us to Joe and Lee with 14. Steve and I both tied at 12.
Ooh, how
Quarter of the
long?
one.
What's
That's-
left in the quarter?
3 weeks.
No, just one.
Oh,
Wait.
just one.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's right, because
because-
Steve's taking the week
because
off.
Because I'm on
Yeah.
vacation, so
Oh,
yeah. So
Ooh, I need to get this Corey Feldman in front of you guys. So
and it's impressive that we got all but one question, like because it's 9 points total. We got 8 of them. Just
Oh,
the Sleepwalkers.
Sleepwalker's the
Yeah,
only
Chris
one,
got
huh?
us, yeah.
You fucked us, Joe.
I did. I'm sorry. This is what happens.
Yep.
All right. Well, Todd is going to be leaving us, sadly, I think, because he
Yep,
didn't.
yep.
He was sick, so he didn't get to watch
I
the
didn't get to
monkey
watch
with
the
us.
movie. Sorry, everybody.
He didn't. I'm sorry,
All right.
Todd.
Have a good night, guys. Have fun.
Everyone say bye to Todd.
Bye, Ted.
Bye.
All right, I'm sad. I'm already alone. I'm lonely now. But at least we got Steve here. We got our buddy Steve. So let's get through 2025's The Monkey, our main event of the evening. Directed by Osgood Perkins, starring Theo James, Tatiana Maslany, Christian Convery, Elijah Wood, Rohan Campbell, and Osgood Perkins himself. Plot. Oh, and I should also mention Adam Scott as well in there. Plot. When twin brothers Bill and Hal find their father's old monkey toy in the attic, a series of gruesome deaths start. The siblings decide to throw the toy away and move on with their lives, growing apart over the years. I don't love that plot synopsis there, IMDb, at all.
But Todd just left, so we're fucked.
Yeah, we are, because Todd, he's our rock on this. But Steve, it's actually been like 2.5 weeks since Steve and I both watched this. But Steve, try to give us your best memory on the plot for The Monkey.
Yeah, I saw the first showing, so it's been a while, but from memory. So it starts off with Adam Scott. He's got the monkey and he wants to pawn it off at a store because he says he just does not want it anymore. And he starts talking to the pawn shop owner and he's like, "Look, I'll just take the stupid thing. I don't want it anymore. It's bad luck." And the guy's like, "Nah, it can't be bad luck. You're just an idiot," and everything like that. Well, of course, the monkey starts banging his little drums. and the pawn shop owner gets violently killed. And then the story takes place a little bit later, where two kids and a mom are, they're kind of just living their lives, a single mom life. And the kids find this very same monkey in a box in their dad's stuff. So they, of course, kids being kids, they're like, okay, well, let's see what this monkey does. And they crank it up, and everyone in their life starts dying. And they're not really sure why. And eventually realize that the monkey is randomly killing people off because they can't choose who the monkey kills. It just kills off whoever the monkey wants. And once it kills their mother, they realize it's gone too far. So they put the monkey in a well and they're done with it. The story keeps going. Years later, they're adults and they're now estranged brothers, and mysterious deaths start happening again because one of the brothers went to get the monkey again, and he wants to kill his brother, but again, the monkey does whatever it wants. It starts killing off a bunch of other random people, and that's kind of where the story takes off, is them trying to stop this monkey once and for all. As best as I can remember, that's the gist of the plot.
Right. Yeah, thank you, Steve, for that. I guess let's start off. My first question to you is, have you ever read this Stephen King short story, or are you familiar with it?
No, I haven't read the Stephen King short story, but my dad was a huge Stephen King collector, and my wife's a big Stephen King collector, and the cover art always marked me, especially as a kid. It's just one of the ones that I remember vividly my dad having on his shelf. It's a monkey with symbols, but apparently Disney owns a trademark to monkey with symbols because of Toy Story or whatever. So they had to do drums, which I think the drums are cool. So it doesn't.
They worked well, yeah.
Yeah, actually, small side note, you got the bucket.
I did.
What'd you think of the bucket? Yeah, and me too.
The popcorn bucket is awesome. I think honestly it might be my favorite out of all the popcorn buckets I've acquired. Since they started doing these popcorn buckets a couple years ago. It's fucking really cool. The arms actually move,
Wow.
they're movable for up and down. The key doesn't turn in the back, but they even have the detail of the key
Nice.
in the back of the monkey. It's a very nice popcorn bucket, very cool. Like the actual monkey is sort of like a hard plastic, and then the actual drum is like the tin that opens up and you can put your popcorn in. So it's freaking really awesome. I mean, it's $50. It's a $50 popcorn
Right.
bucket. It's not cheap, but man, it's like a solid, it's very big, and it's a really cool collector's piece because it works like as a horror collector. It works if you're a Stephen King collector. Like it works on like so many different levels. And hopefully if Osgood Perkins ever does like a con, it might be like one of the top things I would get him
Right.
to sign for sure, just because it would look really cool on display. All right, so let's get into reviewing this sucker. Yeah, man, like obviously this movie was marketed great, as all like Osgood Perkins, man, he has kind of become the king of like movie marketing. His movies, like him and Neon, obviously with Long Legs last year, which was also like an amazing marketing campaign. And this movie was once again just kind of like everywhere. So I think the hype was big on this one going in. I was very excited to see it. You got my popcorn buckets, ready to go. Yeah, man. And overall, like I came out liking it, but I didn't love it at the end of the day. Like, unfortunately, and like it was like kind of like with long legs, it was a similar thing where like I was expecting it to be like my number one movie of the year, like my number two movie. It's still like made, I think, my top 5 of the year or whatever, close, maybe 6 or 7. I don't know. It was somewhere in my top 10, but this one, will it make my top 10? I don't know. We'll see how the rest of the year plays out. But yeah, man, like it's just like such, like even with the trailer, like I knew it was going to be sort of like a tonally like funny movie, but nothing prepared me for how fucking weird this movie gets. Overall it's fun, but yeah, man, the comedy at times didn't hit for me. At times it felt too much, where I was like, this is fucking too goofy. And yeah, man, like yeah, I know, it's just like so oddly bizarre. But the kills are super fun. They're all super gory for the most part and pretty inventive. It reminded me of like an extra goofy version of Final Destination for sure, which is kind of like what he was going for. I mean, I never read this short story either, so I don't know like how different it is. But Osgood Perkins definitely made a choice. Like he went in, he wanted to go full fucking like comedy with horror. Like I'd call this a comedy like first and foremost before I would call this a horror movie. But yeah, man, I mean overall I came out of it fun, but I definitely had a lot of issues with it, and I'm sure we will get deeper into that. But yeah, let's hear your thoughts.
So I seem to be in the minority in this one, in that I didn't love it, but I liked it a lot.
Hmm.
And the thing that really kind of decided what is ultimately going to be my score is the next day or two, all I could think about is, man, I really like to see the monkey again. And that's pretty rare. Usually I'm like, I'm good for a while
Hmm.
and okay, maybe I'll watch it when it comes out on Blu-ray or whatever. But this one, I was like, I was even considering going back to the theater to watch it for this review. And
Nice.
that's very rare for me because this movie theater experience is now fucking expensive.
Yeah.
So, you got to make your choices. But yeah, I had a lot of fun watching it. The kills are so unique and inventive, and there's a lot of them. I like the dark humor that they went with it. Like the scenes where there's like constant funerals made me laugh in a like
Yeah.
dark way, and it just I don't know. There's something with it that I just really clicked with, and really connected with. And yeah, honestly, it could have been easily in like a top 10 contender, except I have a couple of issues that kind of bring it down a little bit for me.
Hmm.
Mainly, I think like the I want to call him Roman, but what's his fucking name? The
Rohan Campbell
Rohan.
from Halloween. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Rohan's character I thought was completely unneeded,
Hmm.
and I wish it was just focused on the brothers kind of fighting it out, and
Yeah.
it kind of that whole section slows down for me. And
Agreed.
my other big gripe is the CGI did not look good at times,
Hmm.
particularly with his death. Just
Yeah.
absolute garbage. So, yeah, I mean, even though I really liked it, it definitely had some issues.
Yeah, man. Like, it's funny because like it was great to see Osgood Perkins in here too. By the way, like he
Yeah, I
his
like his
little
character.
his small little bit was pretty funny,
Mhm.
and yeah, man, it's like you really have to, I think, curb your expectations going into this, like, and know that it's essentially like a slapstick comedy, like with like a lot of horror elements, obviously with the kills and stuff like that. But he went like very, very slapstick with this. It's like a complete 180 over Longlegs, which that's great, man. As a director, like it's
Yeah.
great. Like you want to do that. You want to make completely different movies. You don't want to put yourself in a box. So I think it's great that he's exploring like all these different things. And this is really his first foray into like a comedy style horror movie. But yeah, man, like a lot of the slapstick moments like took me out of it, especially like because I felt like I found myself thinking what was based in reality and like I'm like, is the monkey like I found myself very confused because like especially like and I'll use an example because like the whole like cheerleader thing with like them
Yeah.
like cheering like the death or whatever, I'm like, what the fuck is happening here? So I'm like, okay, like is it like when you wind the monkey, like are you like almost in a different like fucking universe or something like that? And I don't feel like it's ever fully explained or explored, or perhaps I missed it. Because I did find myself checking out a couple times in the third, in like that second, in between that second, third act. Because I did feel like it started dragging, like you had mentioned. I don't know. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree with that. It seemed that they were leading up to like the apocalypse,
Right.
uh, but the monkey was only killing like one person at a time. I don't know.
Mhm.
I also missed the gap between the monkey killing a person here and there to the whole world fucking
Right.
falling
Yeah.
apart.
Right.
Which one of the things I didn't like is that they bring out the pale white horse, like a literal like ghost on a pale
Yeah.
white horse, like across the street. I'm like, I don't know, like that kind of takes it away. It's too like on the nose for me, but yeah, I think it needed more context in
Right.
this, which is yeah, and they wasted so much time with Rohan's character that that's all stuff they could have added in, like more lore, more what the
Mm-hmm.
monkey is, more
100%.
yeah, like explaining the rules of the monkey, or don't say
Yeah.
the rules of the monkey and don't bring in all this fucking crazy stuff, like
Right, because I mean, I love the monkey object. Like, it fucking looks cool.
it looks cool.
It's like really like interesting and creepy in its own way. But yeah, I mean, it never gets into like the mythos of like where this thing came from, which I was disappointed with. Like, I feel like I think you're right. Like, explore sort of the two twin brother things, which I didn't really love the other twin brother thing with the whole fucking like comedy bit at the
Yeah,
end
yeah.
with the like. I was like, this is too much.
With the
Um,
hair.
yeah. I wasn't loving that. I think you could have, I think you could have included the comedy, but like still kept it grounded, where it wasn't like too over the top with like this sort of brother dynamic. But where like I started getting really sort of confused here with like what we're seeing like based in reality and what's not. Because I think like a lot of what this movie has to say is about like childhood trauma and whatnot. Because like at one point, like towards the end of the movie, like obviously we keep going back to the mother character and he sees her die in like this like really obviously horrific way with the monkey. But then at the end of the movie we go back and to me it almost seemed like it may have been like a suicide situation here, which is once again is never really examined, but it seemed almost like his mother had committed suicide. And then it's like the effects of sort of the monkey is really like almost a metaphor. That's kind of almost how I took it, is that this monkey was almost like a metaphor of the effects of like childhood trauma and like how it affects you throughout your life. Cause obviously he has sort of a broken relationship with his son as well. So I'm like, well, like, so is like any of this based in reality or is this whole movie sort of a metaphor? Which is kind of what I was kind of going back and forth with. Did you pick up any of that, or is that
Yeah,
like
I
just me?
felt like it was like his life falling apart as opposed to the world falling
Yeah,
apart, right? It's like his
right.
world is falling apart
Mhm.
kind of thing, right? So maybe a lot of it isn't actually real,
Right.
because it is somewhat grounded. Obviously, the kills are a little ridiculous, but somewhat
Yeah.
grounded until his mom dies, right?
Right.
And it's when his mom dies and he reconnects with his brother that shit starts going really all over the place.
Right.
So yeah, I could see like the metaphor thing, but you're right, they don't explore it deep enough to really concretely say this is what he was going for, you know?
Yeah, which I think is disappointing, like at the end of the day, because I think like had they went into a bit of maybe a bit of the mythos or like just kind of spelled it out a little better, like this I would have upped my score, and this would have been like, oh yeah, like easily top 10. But like, unfortunately, because those things weren't fully explored for me, along with sort of the slapstick bits that didn't hit, it unfortunately just it bogs it down a bit for me.
Yeah, and that's something I wonder. So because, the first time you go into a movie, you don't know much about it and you don't really focus on things like that sometimes. You're like focusing,
Fair,
especially this
yeah.
one, fuck, throws so many crazy things at you that it's
Right.
hard to focus on what else. So I
Yeah.
wonder upon a review if we'd get like a different perspective because we kind of know what's going on this the second time. So
Right.
I'm really curious if that has any effect. But yeah, on its surface, one time watch, yeah, it's definitely lacking in
Yeah.
certain explanations and yeah, lore and so, yeah.
Right. And I 100% actually agree with you because I do want to watch this again. Like, I'm like, because like after like watching, I'm like, man, like especially because like I totally missed the man on the horse apocalypse reference that apparently was made in the movie. Like I
Yeah.
had talked to you about it after, and I'm like, was there a significance to that? And then you explained it to me. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So like I definitely do want to rewatch it, and I feel like there's probably a lot more you can pick up on with this movie. It actually probably could be a lot more layered. And like you said, like it's always tough, like on a first time watch, like you definitely miss a lot of stuff and then you pick stuff up. Like perfect example, like Hereditary, man. Like the more times I watch that movie, the more things I sort of pick up on with
Yeah.
everything and stuff. And now it's like one of my like favorite modern horror movies. So I,
Another example, honestly, is Longlegs.
mhm.
How many
Yeah,
times does demons show up in the background?
sure.
I
Yeah.
missed a lot of them. I saw a few of
Hmm.
them, but I missed a
Right.
lot of them when Ali after that I saw that holy shit, the demons like in fucking a ton of scenes in this
Hmm.
movie, almost like Ghostwatch, which we did recently, where I didn't catch, the pipes ghost as many times as it actually does show up in the background.
Hmm.
So maybe Osgood Perkins, that's his thing. It's like, he layers it in a way that makes it interesting every time you rewatch it. So
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah, no, and he's at the end of the day, man. He's a great director. Like he's
Yeah.
really bringing horror to the forefront right now. He's definitely one of the best horror directors working right now. Even though I didn't like absolutely love this movie, I still really enjoyed it, and I'm excited to see everything he does next. Which actually, they played a trailer for his new movie. I know they didn't do it at your theater, unfortunately, but they played a trailer for his new movie that's going to be coming out I think the end of this year. That looks. I already forget the name of it, but it actually that one looks really interesting too. I think it's like a possession type movie or something. It looks like it's very like going back to like straight horror with this one, like very scary and stuff. So yeah,
Let's
favorite
talk
kill?
about yeah. We gotta talk about the
Yeah,
kills
yeah,
because
we gotta talk about
there's
it.
so many of them.
There's a lot of great ones.
Holy shit! Where do I even start with this one?
I
The
mean,
one that blew like that
no.
surprised me the most, even though it wasn't that creative, but it just I don't know, it just gave me a big smile. Was the real estate agent because
Yeah.
I didn't expect it. So she opens the door and fucking blows up. Like,
Yeah.
I thought that one was hilarious. It just made me laugh. And also his aunt. So she fucking super unlucky. She like her face catches on fire, and
Yes.
then she runs outside and she impales her head on
Hmm.
the real estate sign outside,
Yep.
which is like arrow shaped. Yeah, that was a cool
That
one
was
too.
yeah, that was awesome. I mean, my favorite's the intro, man. The fucking that whole intro in general was fantastic. It was a
Yeah,
great way to open the movie. But yeah, man, it was just super fun. Honestly, very Final Destination esque with like every kill. You know, they're all sort of these like crazy situations that happen. But that one I mean, they're all great. They're all like. I would have preferred more. Like I would have liked to see even more than what I mean. Actually, there is like a really high body count in this one, you know.
there is. Yeah.
But
The problem is it's a high body count at the beginning and a high body count at the end, but
yeah,
not much in the middle, and that's
yeah.
where it slows down
Hmm.
significantly to me. I thought it really had kind of some issues there.
No, 100%. And it's funny because they're even like they just released like merch with the shirts of like some of the kills like
Yeah.
on the t-shirts and stuff. Once again, just fantastic marketing. I sent a video to Stephen Todd the other day of they put a school bus with like decapitated cheerleaders and drove it like all around Hollywood and stuff like that. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's
So
it's amazing what they're doing. But
yeah, are there any kills that you didn't like as much?
um man, it was like 2.5 weeks ago, so like I'm already
Yeah,
forgetting like a lot of them. Like I
because
remember, I'm trying to remember the kill. Like the aftermath is the body bag, which is fucking like all just guts in it or whatever it is. But I am trying to remember like how that kill happened.
I don't think we see that kill.
Do we not
I
see it?
no, I
Okay,
think that's a kill that happens off screen, and they
gotcha.
open the body bag and it's like eviscerated.
Yeah,
There was one I remember something with a bowling ball, but I'm trying to remember. I know it's the bowling
yes,
ball that like you
that's
see
the
early in the
brother, right?
movie.
That he kills the brother with the bowling ball.
Oh, that's right. That's
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That's how he
Because
kills the brother.
like it was a foreshadowing, obviously. Because like in the beginning of the movie,
He
like
tries to kill him with
he's
the
trying,
bowling
he like
ball.
yeah, he gets mad at his brother, whatever, and puts the bowling ball over his head, and he ends up killing him. Did you like? Actually, we didn't even discuss this. Did you like that the brothers were played by the same actor? Like, did
It didn't bother
that
me.
take you out of it?
Not
Didn't
really.
bother you?
No.
Yeah.
Honestly, they
They,
somehow
I
felt different.
I think they didn't do a good job though of making them twins as kids.
No.
Like they both looked completely different,
Right.
and then we're supposed to believe that like okay, like now they look exactly the same as adults. Like they should. I don't understand why they didn't just get twins to play them as kids too. So that was a little confusing, but
Yeah, the two
yeah, it
kills that
was.
I didn't like as much is like I said before, Rohan's kill where a bunch of bees like get into the car and like
Oh
blow up
yeah,
his
that was
mouth.
once again very slapstick.
Slapstick is
Like
way
yeah,
too
and the
CGI.
CGI. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
The other one I didn't love, even though it was like unexpected because it's one of the first kills, but what kind of looked a little goofy was the babysitter at the like the Japanese
Oh yeah,
hibachi
yeah,
house there.
hibachi. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, where he like slits her, like basically cuts her head
Yeah,
off. It
I don't even
just,
know how that was possible, by the way,
you're
because like
right.
he didn't, the knife didn't even seem like it came like anywhere close to her.
Yeah, not to
But
mention a knife would just slice through a fucking
no,
leg. Yeah.
right?
But it was cool how like the head slid
Yeah,
looking towards the kid and then like falls
right.
on the table.
Yep.
And kind of a sign of things to come in the rest of the movie, you
Yeah,
know. So
definitely.
yeah, it's yeah, what was it? Was it Osgood Perkins? I think it's his body that's mangled,
Oh yeah, it may have been.
but we
Yeah,
don't see it on screen.
yeah, we don't, which is it's pretty. Yeah,
I forget what it was. It's like he went hunting or something and something like just fucking destroyed him.
that's right. Yeah,
Yeah, but they're all yeah, it's just they're just so at the end there's a fucking ton of kills like as they're driving away
yeah,
from the house. I mean, it's basically like the opening scene
yeah.
of the Dawn of the Dead remake
Hmm.
where they're just like driving and there's a bunch of people dying like in the background, just like fucking
Hmm.
absolutely total chaos. I mean, the cheerleader kill's hilarious, like you know,
Yeah, at the very end. Yeah, it ends the movie with that, which is it's funny. You know, it's like
yeah.
But it's like, once again, that's why I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if that's real, like, or
Right.
not. Like, I don't think it is. Like, I think
Mm.
I'm going, the way I'm taking it at the end of the movie is sort of how I'm saying it. I think it really is like all just sort of a metaphor because like him and his son, he's like, what do you say? Like, let's go dancing because like that's what his mother kind of wanted to do or whatever.
Right.
And it's like, okay, all this craziness is happening around him. And I think it's all like sort of internal, right?
Mhm.
And it's, yeah. But then, I mean, I guess I don't, well, I'd be interested to see what, because I heard the King story plays out a lot differently with
Apparently, it's
its
a lot more
ending and stuff.
violent.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the King story. So
Hmm.
yeah, that would be a good. I think it's a short story. I don't think
Yeah,
it's.
I think
Yeah,
it's
it's just from
probably
Skeleton
probably should
Crew.
have
Or,
listened to it. We've
yeah,
before this review, but oh well. We're movie reviewers. We're not book reviewers, people.
that's
Although
yeah,
we did
exactly.
review a book once on this podcast.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. Never again. Yeah. It was a tough experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I think we pretty
Yeah.
much covered
I mean, as far as I
everything.
remember, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
we watched it too early.
Yeah, but I think we covered most of it pretty good
Mhm.
there. All right, so let's get into rating it. I'll start us off. Yeah, man, overall, very fun experience. And I really don't think my score would change even on a rewatch, because I remember it pretty well. I do think there's definitely the movie's layered pretty well. It's a fun time, man. Just
Mhm.
you got to go in expecting it to be a comedy, and I think you'll have a really fun time with this one. I think it's a great movie to watch with probably a crowd
Yeah.
and like or a group of people. My audience honestly at theater sucked. I think most
Mhm.
people weren't like no one was laughing like or anything like besides Sam and I at times. Like it's
Yeah.
just we did not have a good audience for this one. But I think it would be a fun time to sit down with friends and watch this one. So yeah, man. Overall, I enjoyed it. I give it a 3.5 out of 5. Well, is that a good enough score to make my top 10? Not this year, but we'll see
Hopefully not.
we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how the rest of the year plays out. But it's a good watch, and it's one I would definitely watch again.
Yeah, I'm slightly higher. I'm at a 4 out of 5. Like I said, like I came out of the theater almost immediately wanting to rewatch it, and that's
Hmm.
that's a pretty rare thing. It has issues, but I had a lot of fun watching it. But I also really like the ridiculous side of horror. I like serious horror too, but
Right.
ridiculous side of horror just hits. That's why I watch all that Tubi crap all the time, and Killer Rack and Greg Tuma and Zombie Ass, Toilet of the Dead, and all these other fucking movies because I like sometimes to just lay back and fucking watch something goofy and this one has both. There are some serious moments. It has some really cool kills, and I think you can have a good time watching it. So yeah,
Hmm.
4 out of 5.
Nice. And what do our friends over at Letterboxd have to say about this one? Currently sitting at a pretty low, actually, 2.9 average over on Letterboxd. So, and honestly, I can see that
Yeah.
because I think the comedy bits are really gonna stray a lot of people away from this one. Like, you really have to like know your horror and watch like those sort of zany horror movies like we enjoy at times. Because if you're just a casual moviegoer going to see this, I could see you really hating this one, for sure. But yeah, 2.9 over on Letterboxd. All right. I think that's going to wrap it up then, folks, for this episode. We hope you enjoyed our review of The Monkey. It's over. It's in theaters right now, but it'll be streaming probably within the next
Probably
week
by
or
the time
two.
this movie comes
Yeah.
out, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, if you want to check it out, I think it is still playing in theaters, but it'll be hitting VOD, I'm sure, very, very soon. In the meantime, what do we get next week, Steve?
So I said last week that it was our final, movie perk pick until at least Stoner Steak because that one's not completed yet. But we got a new one. So our buddy Corey, who actually plays mini golf with us, decided to support our movie and pick a movie for us. And it's a little film by the name of Cabin in the Woods from
Nice.
2011, I believe. So that's another one with some crazy fucking kills that I'm looking forward to discussing, especially, and we're not going to talk about now, but we will talk about next week, the very ending, which I was always kind of like, I felt a certain way about it. So looking forward to revisiting that one. It's been a little while, but it'll be a fun one.
It's been forever since I watched that one, so I'm actually really excited to revisit it because that's like another one where like you go in and you're like, man, this movie's fucking the comedy like in that's another one that kind of threw me
Yeah.
off when I first saw it in theaters. But yeah, Cabin in the Woods, considered a modern masterpiece by a lot of people. So
Yeah.
we'll see how we come down on that one. So go and check out Cabin in the Woods if you haven't already for next week's episode. one last note. I'm 1 week or 1 week away from Monster Mania. So if you want to come hang out with me at Monster Mania, I will be there March 14th through the 16th, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. I'll definitely be at that convention. So yeah, we'll see you there. In the meantime, you can keep up with the podcast, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Threads. Just search The Horror Squad Podcast. You can email us anytime, thehorrorsquadpodcast@gmail.com. But of course, the absolute best way to keep up with the podcast is our Discord. Amazing community over there. Tons and tons of channels to sift through. Steve just added some new ones. We got an autograph collecting corner now, physical media. I mean, it's like, I think we got like almost like 15 or 20 channels at this point. Ton of obviously conversation over there. So if you want to talk anything and everything horror and even non-horror, come on over, join the amazing community on our Discord. It's linked over on our Instagram, or you can send us an email or a DM. And we'll get you a link to join that Discord. Movie clubs every single month over there, hosted by Steve, where you watch a horror movie with your fellow horror fans. It's a great time. Also, don't forget, leave us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast app, or you can buy merch, tpublic.com, the Horror Squad Podcast. Once again, this is all linked over on our Instagram to get to all of that. I think that's about it. So we'll see you next week for, I already forgot.
Cabin in the Woods.
Cabin in the Woods. See you, everyone.
Bye.